Welcome to the new Haitian generation. I am your host, Robbins Cherry, and please welcome to the show today, Coral Spring Commissioner Nancy Metayer. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me today.
Oh my goodness, it is a pleasure to have you. I've heard so much about you. Actually, my sister-in-law is your friend, and listen, you need to bring her to the show. She's great. She's doing great things in the community. I'm like, who are you talking about? So I looked you up, and now you are sitting in the show, in the building. Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely, and Britt is a good friend of mine. Sorry, Brittany, I'm using your nickname. But she does great work in the community as well as an educator, and it's just amazing to see your friends doing great work as well.
Yes.
I know how important it is as Black women to give back and what that means for our community. It's vital for our community. So I'm so happy to be here and really share my experience with you.
Yes, so before we get into the commissioner thing, before we get into the title things, I want the viewers to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
Because this is the new Haitian generation.
Right.
And the goal of this show is to really inspire the next generation that, hey, we could do this thing.
Yes.
So tell me about your background, your upbringing.
So I am a proud Haitian American through and through.
Ça passe?
It's not boule.
Okay.
Actually, what most people don't know about me is I didn't learn English. I was 5 years old. As a child of immigrants, we know this story all too well. Mm-hmm. Our parents come here, they migrate here, they stay with a family member, they start working, and then my best friends were my siblings and my cousins, because that's who I knew, right?
It.
And I went off to school and didn't realize I was different till I got to school. And, you know, growing up, you had the little barrettes in your hair.
Oh,
and there was no Lunchables in my house. It was jus, sauce, pois, legumes. That is what you brought to school with you, right? And so I came from really humble beginnings. And my dad is someone who worked super hard, as well as my mom. They put themselves through school. My dad created a business. And we moved to Coral Springs. And there I continued my education, went to Broward Elementary, then Coral Springs Charter from 6th to 12th grade, were that inaugural class, go Panthers, and then became very, very involved in the community. That's where I fell in love with service. Not only was I brought up with that in my household, l'école, l'église, la caille. But my family really discipline, ensure that we had a good balance. So we were very involved in the community. We played sports, but we were also very involved in the church as well.
You play sports?
I do. I was a track runner.
Really?
My events where I was in the relay.
Okay.
I did 800, and then I did long and triple jump. So was a track runner, cheerleader, and I played soccer, of course. The Haitian, you can't be Haitian and not play soccer.
You got to. And
then went off to Florida A&M University. Was the first person in my family to attend a university, and that kind of led for my other siblings. My sister is also a fellow Rattler. Go Rattlers. Number one HBCU in the nation. Then went off to Johns Hopkins, where I received my master's degree, and also the first in my family to get a master's degree. So was able to break those barriers, and now I'm serving my community in this capacity, but I'm not new to this work. I went off to Haiti, did some work there with an organization called Operation Blessing.
Okay.
And did some work around pharmaceuticals, ensuring that communities had access to chlorine, whether to properly disinfect their homes or their hospital equipment. And also we dispersed pharmaceuticals throughout the country.
Wow.
And then worked with fisheries and did education work there as well, and came back home and started doing work around food desert and food insecurities in communities in the 3311 corridor, Sistrunk for most of us who knows it, because we know that's a high food desert area. And so brought me here. So
I know you went on from Haiti and then here. When did you leave Haiti?
I left Haiti in 2016, yes.
So how old were you?
Oh, wow, I was in my 20s.
Okay.
So I was there so it was an assignment. I was there as an expat. So I was there for an 18-month assignment, jumped around from NGO to NGO. My most memorable experience is working with the U.S. Comfort, which is U.S. Defense.
Okay.
It's a ship where they provide public health services to developing countries, they like to say, and Haiti's on the staff. So what I was able to implement with other NGOs was round up volunteers to do translation, provide healthcare services, and we were able to give individuals the care that they needed, that some of them never got care since they were born. So sometimes this was the first time people were seeing a doctor for the first time in their life, and led a water program in Léogâne. I'm not sure if you know where Léogâne is. Beautiful place.
Wow.
And was able to help women and girls around how to properly disinfect their water, because at that time cholera was ravaging the country, and so we were experiencing a lot of deaths.
So you've been around, you're doing a lot. Tell me about your family environment growing up, because it seems like your family principles have carried on through you.
Yes.
So tell me about the environment.
So in my home, hard work was everything, right? It's not only about being smart and being educated. School was very important. It was an important upbringing first, but it was also hard work, also service, and also making sure family was a very key. Me and my siblings are very close. I was raised in a two-parent household, and I have 3 other siblings. We're very close, like I mentioned to you. Those were my best friends. My parents didn't believe in like sleepovers and all of that stuff.
No, Haitians don't do that.
And so those were the folks that I leaned on. And so with my family dynamic, my family really instilled that with education you can go very far, but with hard work you can go even farther. And so that was instilled in us in a very, very young age.
Wow, that is great. What do you think has been passed down to you when it comes to the culture of how you were brought up?
Oh, the food for sure.
You can't lie about that.
The food, I love my rice, but my moulin is my thing. But spaghetti is another one. The food is it's where a place you break bread. That's where you have conversation. That's where you have conversations that are important. Whenever we have a family meeting, or a family gathering, food is always the center of that. But also very important to us is art and culture.
Yes.
Understanding what this means, what this looks like. It roots. My mom, she doesn't think she's radical, but I think she's super radical. She really taught us about our history at a very young age, about having pride about being the first Black nation. We carried that with us, especially when you go to school and you're learning about American history. I was able to chime in and be like, what about the Louisiana Purchase? We helped with that, right? That was missed out of our textbooks, especially going to predominantly white schools. You know, elementary through high school, we were missing that Black history, and I was able to chime in when I'm like, no, Haiti had an impact in that, and we helped with the Civil War as well. So just being able to provide that insight was amazing.
I think it's vital that this generation understand their history, because when you read the stories in the history book in school, and you see yourself in it, it changes your mentality.
Absolutely.
It changes who you are. It changes is that people have died and they have passed on that to you. Now you have to carry it on.
Right.
So I think it's vital that parents, that schools really teach this next generation about who they are. Because after us, every other nation started to follow what we did.
Correct.
So, and that's and we're not going to talk about that today. That's one of the reasons why, Haiti is in so much problems, because it's like they're afraid of who we are. They're trying to suppress.
Made of an example, right? You say and we hear about this. If you look at Nat Turner, he mirrored his revolution on his plantation based on the revolution that happened in Haiti, right? And so I want to reiterate that our history doesn't start in civil rights, the civil rights movement. It started way before that, right?
1804.
1804, and before that, the Maroons. We have a rich history, so for the folks who are watching, please dig into that. Especially, there is no Black history without Haitian history.
That's right. Say, you need to say that again.
There is no Black history without Haitian history.
Haitian history. And I think parents have a role to play in that.
Right.
I know many of them, they sacrifice so many things to bring their kids here.
Right.
But you're going to have to take some time to really, implement some history. Because like you said, when growing up, the table, this is where we talk.
Right.
And we don't do that anymore today.
Not anymore.
Mom would say food is ready, then, daughter would come from her room, my son would come from outside, get their food, and they go back to their location. It is up to you to say, no, sit down, take away all the gadgets. How are you guys doing today? How's everything?
Right.
And I think we need to really start to do that again, because the TV, the YouTube, the Facebook is teaching our kids. And we have to implement, that's very powerful, what you just said about history. Who was your biggest influence growing up and even now?
My grandma.
Okay.
My grandma's the one who taught me international affairs while she was braiding my hair in the 90s. Remember a lot of the exile and the turmoil that was happening in Haiti. She actually broke that down to me. Like, she was my first my Black political. She explained to me what exile was, what a coup d'etat was, all of the information that I learned to somewhat degree is happening now, right? And she's super smart. She has taught me very great parables. I fell in love with the environment through her. She would tell me things like, hey, when a child is born in Haiti, their umbilical cord is buried and a tree is put on top of it, and that your roots are always there, and then you look at this tree and that's basically giving back to the earth in some type of way. So it's like a way of you not only are part of this environment, but you contribute to it as well. So when we talk about how we give back, how we treat our environment, I learned that from my grandmother.
That's great. Is she still alive?
She is. She's shaking and moving at 79 years old.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she actually swore me in. In Haitian Creole. She did that for me because, again, we sit on the shoulders of giants, and I just wanted to show a full circle of how she's inspired me and how she's actually contributed to my career. So that was very important to me.
We're going to try to get a picture of her and put on a show, because I think the young generation need to always sit and learn from the older generation.
Right. Even though we don't agree all the time.
That's right. But they have so much wisdom.
Right.
And that's one thing I've learned. When the older people start to speak, you just be quiet and listen.
Right.
And what you do is you just take what you need.
Right.
But many times, you don't know anything. Just because you have a master's degree or PhD don't mean you know more than the older generation.
Right.
So that's very powerful. Tell me about your love for politics. How did that start?
Again, my grandma.
Okay.
We would watch CNN, and the thing about my grandma is her English is not the greatest, but she could tell you everything that's going on CNN. Like, she'll call me, we'll talk about it now, and she'll be like, did you see X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, Grandma, would you see this? I just heard about it now. We vote together. She got her citizenship. And so our tradition is that we vote together always, right? We'll go together, we'll print our ballot out, and we'll do our candidate search. We'll have conversations about each candidate. We may not agree on them all the time, but we have those conversations, which candidate is better for our community. But I truly got it from her. My father is very involved, and our family is very involved in Haitian politics. So people like to say it's in my blood. So
yeah, you grew up around it.
Right.
You grew up around it. Now, since we have given the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, where you come from, what you're doing, tell us about running for Coral Springs City Commissioner.
First of all, it was not easy, especially during a pandemic.
Yes.
But this was not my first time running for an elected seat. I previously served for Broward County Soil and Water Conservation District.
Okay.
And then I ran for mayor in a special election in 2019, came in second, and then I decided I'd give it another shot and ran for commissioner seat 3. It was not easy at all. Was able to break barriers. I am the first Black woman to sit on the dais, the first Haitian American, and the second Black person, second Black person to serve in that seat. folks want to say racism isn't real. That's a lie. The amount of negative rhetoric that was spewed during my campaign, not from in particularly by all my candidates, but very particular individuals who saw me and what I look like, my existence as a threat. And it wasn't because people disqualified my qualifications, questioned them and said that there's no way you could have accomplished all that you have in this short amount of time. They culturally, we don't just you live with your parents, right? You don't just decide that I'm going to move out because you want to move out for the sake of it. I still live with my family, and that's something that I'm proud of.
Sure, you're saving all that money.
Exactly. And so that was a topic of discussion. My work that I do around social justice, I'm affiliated with Black Lives Matter. I organize. I work around social justice issues because those are the issues that impact me as a Black woman. I have Black brothers and sisters. I have Black nieces and nephews. So, of course, I'm going to advocate for equality. And so those were the issues that were the forefront of my community. But above that, I rise. I never said anything negative about my opponents. I really stuck to my platform, which was economic growth, public safety, and environmental sustainability.
Wow. I'm just in awe.
Oh, thank you.
Because you would think that running, I think before our previous administration, running as a Black person was a little bit easier.
Right. Or
if somebody felt some type of way, they kept it inside. But now people are just bold to say whatever they feel, not understanding that this can impact, how you feel.
Right.
But you didn't let that impact you because you knew that it's more than you. I think a lot of people need to get this. The position and the title that you have is more than you.
Right.
It's for the next generation. It's for the other people that you will call to serve. So now that you are City Commissioner seat 3, right? And I'm sure you have. So what was your campaign? What is it that you plan to do for that seat?
So first and foremost, I also want, if we could go back just a little bit, we also need to identify what a win is. To me, winning wasn't just winning the seat.
Yeah.
It was actually laying the groundwork for someone to come after me and benefit those, reap from those benefits, right? Me, I saw it as sowing a seed, and then if another woman of color, Haitian woman in particular, decides to run again, that foundation's already laid for her, right? That was my win. My other win was pushing my city to really take environmental concerns, make it a priority. South Florida is ground zero for climate change. And our city, just because we're not on the intercoastal or by the sea, we still sit on the Everglades. So our water is going to continue to rise. And going back to family, my family poured everything they owned into the home we have now. That was like, they worked very hard to have ownership of that. And I wanted to make sure that I have a vested interest in the city, make sure that moving forward, that home can be passed down generation to generation. What I plan to do in Coral Springs is making sure that individuals feel heard. There is a pocket of folks who live in my city who feel like they're not heard, they're not represented at all, and that the more affluent you are, the more attention people pay to you. And it shouldn't be that way. Everyone in the city pays taxes, whether you're a renter or a homeowner. And so I want to make sure that those line of conversations continue to happen. Also have some real deep-rooted conversations, some real issues about deep-rooted issues around what racial equality means in our city. Because folks don't want to admit it, but Coral Springs is now changing, and we're changing rapidly. And our dais did not reflect that. And want to make sure, whether it's a Latinx person that comes up, a Haitian American, that when they look to our city commission, they can say, I see myself up there.
Yeah, I need to reelect this woman whenever her time is gone, because she has work to do, and 4 years is not enough. But I could feel the passion inside of you. I could feel growing up in Coral Springs, you kind of know what's going on and what is needed.
Right.
So I thank God that you were able to be selected and won. Now, how did it feel, like when it actually happened?
So, it's COVID. We did an intimate a watch party at home, but folks could watch virtually, and we kept going back and forth and trying to see the results. It was on 30, there's 34 precincts. It was on 30, 34 for the longest. I want to say an hour as we're watching the results come in. As soon as my sister, she can't hold water, she looked over, and she's like, Nancy, it's 34, 34. You won. I screamed. I just started crying. And then, you know, as Haitian parents, my grandma started in Haitian hymn, Bon Dieu pamna vaka compare, and it was just like a whole thing, and it's just like, and my friends are just like, this is a real Haitian event. Yes. Because it was just the amount of pride, hard work to see it like being presented right in front of you. I'm still in awe. It's still very surreal. It didn't hit me till my first commission meeting where I was just like, I'm really up here. I'm really voting yes or no. Wow. on items here today.
Wow. So tell me about how politics will inspire the next generation.
That is a very complex question. I say that because folks, I see it as being an inspiration, and I also see it as a wake-up call for most folks, right? Some folks say, listen, I want to ensure that my ancestors are proud of me because all the people who fought for us to vote. But then there's a wake-up call for individuals be like, man, I didn't vote the last 4 years, and look what we went through. Like, now I got to show up and vote. So if you're not part of the conversation, you're going to be left out. Yeah. And time again, when our folks don't show up, our folks are not holding elected officials accountable, we suffer, we carry that burden. So I hope with the massive protest that has happened around the George Floyd and the Breonna Taylor, that it's inspiring people to get more politically active, not only on a national level, but on a local level, because local politics is what impacts you directly.
Wow. So as a commissioner, what is your biggest challenge as you work?
Making sure that I don't get, you want so much for your community, yes, right? And it shouldn't be about what I want. It should be about what community wants, right? So really putting those blinders on and say, truly, is this what the community wants? And if it's what they want, let me step back my agenda, let me push back my agenda to ensure that the community gets what they need at this very pivotal time.
We were talking backstage a little bit about the Haitian community. How does your service affect or impact the Haitian community, especially in Coral Springs?
First and foremost, want to make sure that our culture is embraced. When I say our culture, our language. Language is one aspect of our culture. And what I see throughout South Florida is that we have a lot of things that are translated in English and Spanish, but we are always last, like thought off last, right? And language justice is an issue. Want to make sure that any announcements, anything that we're doing, because there is such a large Haitian community in Coral Springs, that we're doing it in a trilingual aspect as well. So any opportunity that I get to say a few words in Haitian Creole, I do, because again, representation matters, and you never know, a little girl, little boy who are watching this segment or watch me on CSTV, they'll be like, oh my gosh, she just said sac passe, or you know, something, and be like, I know that too, and they'll see themselves in that role.
So we have a few minutes left. What advice would you give to someone that actually wants to run for commissioner? What advice would you give them?
There's this notion that you have to wait your turn. I didn't wait my turn. When I ran for mayor, folks were just like, you're too young. You have a lot more time ahead of you. Have children, get married first. But I didn't listen to that. This is something that I truly believed in, and I worked hard. If you are passionate about, and this is not just through politics, if you're passionate about something, don't wait your turn. There's always a place for you to give your perspective and your insight, and you should lean into that. For folks who are thinking about running for politics, do your research. Don't just say I want to run and don't have a platform, don't know why you're running, and don't know the community you're running in. You're just running. So take some time to do that research. Get involved in your city. Join a committee. Do work around your community. When I mean community, that means whether that's Haitian community, whether that's Broward County, but get involved in some way to show that you have that experience.
Wow. I have 2 more questions for you. Why you think it is important for this program, this New Haitian Generation, for the community? How do you see this program impacting our community?
First, it tells for the Haitian Americans, I said this to you before we began, Haitian Americans have dual identities. When we're here in America, we're not American enough. When we're in Haiti, we're not Haitian enough. This particular segment or show will give us some type of identity. Wow. It will bridge both of those identities that we share and say, hey, yeah, I get that. You know, as a young Haitian American in the States, I can relate to that. And if someone from overseas are migrating here, they'll be like, yeah, I remember that. I used to do that in Haiti. It kind of just bridges both of those cultures together, and it just shows that we have some type of community here. Being a Haitian American is a culture within itself.
That's good. The first couple of years, I had a chance to sit where you're sitting right now, just to be a guest, and walking around the schools and the community, they saw it. And it really impacted how they view Haitian. And some, especially the younger kids now growing up, they see that. I'm like, oh, he's an author. He's doing this, he's doing that. And I think you can inspire so many people with your platform and what you're doing. If someone wants to contact you, you know, how can they do that?
Absolutely. So I will give you my cell. So it's 954-254-8880. That is my direct cell number. Please don't call me for anything else. But if it's whether it's some insight or some help, I'm more than happy to help with that. Or you could shoot me an email at Metayer, that's METAYER, @coralsprings.org. Send me an email. I always love to mentor young folks, whether it's a couple of conversations. I take that very seriously. Also follow me on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. That's Nancy Metayer.
Wow. So if you want to reach out to her, she has given you so many information. Thank you so much. Thank you to our guests. You have been watching the New Haitian Generation, where my guest has been Nancy Metayer. And you can watch the New Haitian Generation on Tuesday and Thursday night at 10 p.m. on Beacon TV. Tune in next time. Goodbye. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.